Over the past 10 years, some of the greatest moments in all of sports happened right here on Fox.
Down the left field line, is it enough? Gone!
This is a presentation of Fox Sports, celebrating 10 years of excellence.
All teams face defining moments sooner or later if they're going to win championships. The Yankees is just coming a little bit sooner than they would have liked. Tonight on Fox, it is a must-win for the Pinstripes now that the Twins have gotten comfortable in the Bronx. Seems this underdog has a whole lot of bite. Hi, everyone. Welcome inside the Fox Network Center. Jeannie Zalasko along with Kevin Kennedy. The journey to the World Series continuing tonight on Fox, Kevin. Happy to have you here. The Cubs, by the way, haven't been to a World Series in 45 years. It's been 2 years for the Yankees, and it's a crisis. Oh, yeah. George Steinbrenner followed a Game 1 loss with a minor threat. We'll turn it around, said the boss. Joe will have to do it. Ron Gardenhire may be enjoying his time in the Bronx, but the pressure is definitely on the Yankees.
I do think that we're a little hungrier this year. As a team, as a whole, I think we're a little hungrier.
And we're feisty, and we're low budget, and we're all those things. But I think we're pretty good. We can catch the ball, we can pitch, and we got some guys who can hit, and we're a pretty good baseball team, and it just amazes me that nobody ever says we're any good.
They have a leg up on us right now, so they're certainly not taken for granted by my ball club.
I'll tell you what, though, definitely we have taken the
One of the most historic places in all of professional sports. They call it the house that Ruth built. This place just dripping with history. Yankee Stadium. But let's go to the present. Right now, coming into this, Game 2 of the Division Series, the Minnesota Twins have a 1-0 advantage. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck, Tim McCarver in just a second. Well, think what the Twins did here on Tuesday. They shocked a lot of people. They came in here and played a terrific game. They played their type game. And if you consider the Twins from a year ago, an upstart team, maybe they didn't belong, they surprised everybody, forget that. This is a very good, young, talented team, and they come into this game, Tim McCarver, with an awful lot of confidence after what happened here Tuesday afternoon.
Well, rarely do you see a team come in for their first postseason game with the confidence that the Twins exuded the other day, forcing the Yankees to play their worst postseason game under Joe Torre. Now, the Yankees have won 4 world championships in their last 8 years. They've done it with resourcefulness and guile, and we'll see how wily they are tonight.
And really, when you think about it, think of what's on the line here for the Yankees. They don't want to go back to Minnesota down 2-0. There's pressure on the manager now, and there's really been pressure all year. Pressure on these players that aren't getting any younger. This is an interesting game that's about to unfold before us tonight. The Yankees are known for their October magic. They're going to have to dip into their bag of tricks tonight. Baseball is Division Series on Fox is brought to you by Subway. Good so you don't always have to be. Subway, eat fresh. By Gillette Mach 3 Turbo for the closest shave with less irritation even against the grain. By Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by Midas. Glad you're with us on what is, according to Tim and according to me, just a perfect night for baseball.
Beautiful.
It is beautiful here in the Bronx, and the lineup for the Minnesota Twins. Shannon Stewart leads it off. Luis Rivas bats second with Doug Mientkiewicz hitting third. Matthew Lee Croy is the DH with Jones, Hunter, Koski, Pierzynski, a very good hitting catcher, and Guzman is the shortstop batting in the number 9 spot. And that group will try to figure out a way to get some hits and some runs against the left-hander Andy Pettitte.
Andy Pettitte matching his best year as far as wins with 21. A remarkable record here at Yankee Stadium. He is 81-30 here at Yankee Stadium. Scouting report, he slows down fast teams. With his move to first, the Twins are going to have to wait till they get to second to run on him. He must pitch left-handed batters inside, and they have 4 in the lineup. And could this be the swan song for Andy Pettitte in pinstripes?
It could be. Then again, it could be just another start. That familiar look, just over the edge of the glove, just under the bill of the cap. Glad you're with us on Fox as Shannon Stewart digs in. Away we go. Broadcast also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television. It'll be Stewart, then Rivas, then Mientkiewicz. A little excited, 2-0.
I think that's the reason. Usually when a pitcher is excited in postseason, the pitches are high. Both fastballs up around the shoulders.
Two balls and a strike. This is the 26th career postseason start for Andy Pettitte. The last 3 have not been good. World Series in 2001 and his efforts last year when the Yankees were disposed of by the Anaheim Angels. That makes it count 3-1. 0-2 in his last 3 postseason starts with a 10.5 ERA. It was Messina in game 1. It's Pettitte, a 21-game winner during the regular season here in game 2. That's out of play, and it's a full count. Shannon Stewart on 3-2. Takes ball 4, a leadoff walk. He checked his swing, and a good start for Minnesota. We look defensively at the New York Yankees, and Tim, how many people came up to you after watching game 1 and said, what is the deal defensively with this Yankees team? They did not look good. They looked slow. Their arms didn't look good, and you look at Soriano, who had 19 errors during the regular season. He had 1 in game 1 of this division series.
They look sloppy and plodding in game 1. And speaking of plotting, I think there will be a bunt here with Rivas, even though it's the first inning. Pettitte, by going to first base, is trying to get Rivas to square around or commit too early.
Trying to get an early lead for Brad Radke. Andy Pettitte, the Yankees won 17 of his last 20 starts. Radke on the other side won his last 6 decisions coming into the postseason. No sign of a bunt. Strike 1 at the knees from Pettitte.
Rivas did sacrifice when Stewart led off Tuesday's game with a double. So with the count in Pettitte's favor, we'll see what Ron Gardenhire does.
This is a lineup for Minnesota that is left-handed heavy. And when asked about it before the game, Gardenhire said, they're our best players. What can I do? Down and in, that nasty pitch. Rivas went. It's 0-2.
That was that cutter that right-handers hitters will be given a steady diet of tonight. It is very difficult to check your swing on the cutter out of the strike zone.
No balls, 2 strikes. 1 on, 1 out.
Cutter. What a pitcher does, he puts pressure on that middle finger and actually cuts through the ball, making the ball look like a slider. For Pettit, it's rarely in the strike zone, particularly when he's ahead. And he gets Rivas.
You and I have been sitting in these seats in this booth in October since 1996 rolled in. And we've been here seemingly year after year after year. Minkevich takes ball one. I get the feeling, and you and I haven't talked about it, this 2003 October feels different than any of the other under Joe Torre. You get the feeling that this run by the Yankees is going to change dramatically after this season. The cast of players, maybe even the manager, the starting rotation, question marks all over the place. The bullpen, they never really filled that void with the left-handed setup reliever to get to Rivera. There are a lot of moving parts, or parts that are about to be moved here with the Yankees, and this could be one final burst for this group the way we know them here in 2003. And here they are, down 1-0 to the Minnesota Twins, and quite frankly on Tuesday the Twins look like the better team. 1 ball, 1 strike, and a check on the runner, Shannon Stewart. So many questions about Joe Torre. We talked about that during the season. Pressure on him from George Steinbrenner. Even with the 4 world championships, as he works in his 8th year. We always talk about that pickoff move that Andy Pettit possesses. There's nobody better in the game at that. Pettit, one of those question marks that Kevin Kennedy and Jeannie Zelasco talked about during our pregame show. A free agent to be. A 1-1. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Normally the Yankees a team of stability, and I can't remember a year, even in the years they were losing from 81 through 94, where it was an organization in flux, a turnstile of players in and out. 19 different relievers used by the Yankees this year.
On 1-2, Minkevich fouls another one away. Along the lines of trying to introduce to the country who these Minnesota Twins players are, we're going to give you some interesting tidbits that I learned just hours ago. You didn't ask, but Doug Minkevich attended high school with A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez in Florida. A-Rod the QB, and Minkevich a tight end. And we have video to prove it. 1 on, 1 out, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Minkevich, out number 2.
That was a slider. Now it's different from a cutter. Cutter's thrown a little harder, and with the slider, Pettit has a tendency to throw it up in the strike zone a little more, just catching the front corner to Minkevich, who rarely strikes out.
Here's Lee Croy. 287 average during the regular season. Now he is the other catcher on the roster for Ron Gardenhire, the Twins manager. That's back to Pettit. And after a leadoff walk, Pettit takes care of the rest. The Yankees coming up, bottom of the first, down 1-0. No score. Brad Radke features a changeup, and he takes on this lineup for the New York Yankees. A little different than game 1. Soriano leads off at second base. Derek Jeter, and then Giambi, the DH, bothered by a bad left knee. Bernie Williams cleans up. Jorge Posada bats 5th. Hideki Matsui in left, hitting 6th. Then it's Aaron Boone, Nick Johnson, and Juan Rivera instead of Kareem Garcia, who many believed would get the start tonight against the right-hander Brad Radke.
Joe, in our opening, we used the word guile concerning the Yankees over the last 8 years. I think you can use that word concerning Brad Radke also. 14-10. He won his last 6 decisions of the season. He had a horrible first half. but he is not a hard thrower. Contrary to Pettit, he has to hit his spots with a great changeup.
Soriano up there hacking strike one, and it's really an interesting matchup because Radke will tell you the bigger the hitter, the softer he'll go.
Right.
And typically in years past, the Yankees have been a very patient team at the plate. That's why he's 3-9 lifetime against this Yankee group. But the Yankees have to fight what is kind of a desperation feel in this game and let Radke come to them as opposed to going out and trying to pound these pitches, because that plays right into his hands.
Yeah, if you become anxious as a hitter versus Radke, that's exactly what he wants you to do. Become anxious as a hitter, you stride too far and the changeup gets you. He's as effective against left-handed hitters as he is against right-handers.
8th round pick back in '91, came up in '95. He's been with the Twins through some bad years, and Soriano leads off with a hit. That's a bad spot. Up, and Soriano jumped on it. Defensively for this Minnesota group, they finished number 2 in the American League in fielding percentage, number 2 to Seattle, and what a year they had with the gloves with the Mariners. But you look at that outfield, and they're anchored by that guy out in center field, Torrey Hunter, who is clearly one of the best in the business.
That was a woefully poor 0-2 fastball to Alfonso Soriano. Everybody in the American League knows he'll chase. Brad Radke right down the fat part of the plate. Here's a guy who doesn't throw a fat fastball for a strike, even when he's behind in the count. Right down Broadway, but not for long.
Jeffrey Mayer lost his history homework out in right field, so he had a little delay while they chased it down. Soriano takes his lead and he goes. That didn't take long. Hit and run, and Jeter fouled it away. Talk about the Twins, and their game is to get on base and press it, make things happen. Soriano, 4th in the league with those 35 steals. Wasn't waiting around too long either.
There are so many things that Joe Torre can do with the tandem of Derek Jeter and Alfonso Soriano. You can hit and run as they tried there. You can use a straight steal and then have Jeter get him over his natural strokes to right field. He may be running again.
Starts and stops, and Pierzynski pops up. 1 ball, 1 strike on Jeter.
Pierzynski behind the plate has a slightly above average throwing arm. And when we talked to Joe Torre before the game, he implied that the Yankees were going to be very aggressive on the bases tonight.
It's not very nice. Slightly above average.
Well, slightly above average. Posada's got a strong throwing arm, but A.J. Pierzynski is slightly above average. He has a quick grip. Yeah, he has
like
a quick
C. Like a C.
Like a C plus.
C plus.
B minus to C plus.
That'll get you 27%.
Yeah, about right.
Average must be 26.5.
Slightly above average.
2 balls and a strike on Jeter.
You could bet your mobile home he's running here, pal.
You've made me do that before, and I've managed to hang on to that baby. Well,
trailer for sale or rent. Rooms to let, 50 cents.
I've lost it. And girls, back up. 2-2 on number 2.
Out another mobile home.
Soriano at first with nobody out. Radke skips it over to Minkiewicz.
One thing the Minnesota Twins can do, they can catch the ball on the infield and in the outfield. Perhaps the best defense in baseball.
Way above average.
Way above average. Speed in the outfield, sure-handedness on the infield.
This crowd wants to see action. They don't want to see throws over to first. Radke trying to keep Soriano close. Giambi will follow Jeter, and then Bernie Williams. Jeter flares one into right for a hit. A broken bat, and it's 2 on with nobody out.
Derek Jeter gets a lot of hits like this. He is deceptively strong, so the ball in off the plate on the hands, he breaks the bat, but just lifts it over the outstretched arm of Rivas. I was interested in Kevin Kennedy's analogy, and I thought he was right on about Jason Giambi not being able to get around on that high fastball. The reason that I think Giambi is going to hit the ball hard tonight is that Radke doesn't have the high fastball. He has to keep the ball down to be effective, and he doesn't throw hard enough to tie up Giambi, and that's where you have to pitch it, inside.
Big RBI opportunity for Giambi, who had a rough game 1, and he takes a strike on the inside corner. They were booing Giambi here. And here is an opportunity for Jason to make him cheer here at Yankee Stadium. 0 for 4 in game 1 with a couple of strikeouts. This Yankee team 1 out of 10 with runners in scoring position in game 1. And the hole 0-2, and he took a big rip.
The sequence of pitches were interesting for Pierzynski. He went wiggle, pinky, and that's a fastball inside, with several other sequences after that. So if you're on second base, it's probably, if it is the second sign, he'll come back inside.
Giambi with a base hit to right. Not hard hit, well placed, and they'll hold Soriano at third. And with nobody out, it looks like the right decision by Willie Randolph.
Tried to come inside with the fastball, and he misses out over the plate, just like he did to Soriano. Soriano with nobody out, held up appropriately at third. Jeter looking at the runner in front of him, and the Yankees with a chance here in the first inning. 2 flares to right field, one by Jeter, one by Giambi.
Now it's Bernie Williams. They were booing him on Tuesday, and they're chanting his first name on Thursday. Ball 1.
What we're doing is one of the big reasons that the Boston Red Sox were asked to remove the monitor from their bullpen. Because over the course of a game, you can pick up the sequences of a catcher's sign, relay it to the guys in the dugout. Looked like a changeup.
And it was in the dirt. It's 2-0.
So right now, you at home, you folks at home, know that Pierzynski is using the second sign, and don't look for that to happen in the second inning.
Not if anybody in the clubhouse is watching.
Fastball away.
Into center. Soriano will tag and go. The throw lollipops into the infield. It's 1-0 New York.
In a big sense, I mean, Bernie Williams does what the Twins want him to do. Because with the bases loaded, nobody out, if you can keep the runners at first and second there, you're giving up the run at third anyway. So a sac fly with the bases loaded, nobody out isn't the worst thing that could happen to a defense or to a pitcher.
The bench for the Twins is trying to get Pierzynski's attention. I don't know if they're going to appeal at third. Third baseman Koski is near the bag. But whatever it wasn't that. As now with 2 on 1 out, here's Jorge Posada. Good pitch down and away, strike one. Posada hitless in game 1 on Tuesday afternoon. Two on, 1 out. Another changeup. It's 0-2.
We talked about that guile and deception. That's why it's the #1 point of our scouting report tonight. Brad Radke, he's a lane changer. He's got to be fine inside and outside. The outside corner, inside corner. And what Posada has seen has been that devastating changeup. May see it again.
3 consecutive pitches that were 79 miles per hour. 3 changeups in a row, and it's 1-2. Radke last year won game 5 against Oakland in the division series. Was 2-0 in that series against the A's, but lost in the LCS to Anaheim as the count goes to 2-2. Chance for a big first inning. Jeter stealing third. Out at the plate. Safe at third. 2 away. A strikeout of Posada, and it's first and third, 2 out.
Derek Jeter very quiet around second base. Timing, and he finally runs on the right pitch. A low changeup that gets Posada. But Pierzynski fails to get Jeter, but it was very close. When you're the trail runner with runners on at first and second, you're not compelled to run because you don't have, understandably, the jump that the guy on second has.
Really looked like Jeter's left hand came in and hit the left leg of Koski at third, and Jeter didn't get to the bag. Now where's the right hand? Know that he got to the bag, called safe, and it's first and third, 2 out as Posada struck out. And here is Matsui, who tied for 10th in the AL with those 106 RBIs.
That's a fair point, Joe, because unless that left hand went to the inside of the right knee, I'm not too sure he did get to the bag. One more look. Of course, you run the risk, left knee, I should say, you run the risk of a runner not going in hands first. But the left hand does touch the left knee of Corey Koski. Now when he makes the tag, did the left hand scoot in there? I don't know. It's very close.
No balls, 2 strikes on Matsui. A very good hitter on changeups, and a fastball gets him upstairs. And after all that, 3 consecutive hits, The Yankees come up with only one. Headed back to work here in the Bronx. Well, there's no doubt Andy Pettitte was sitting there thinking, my guys just put their first 3 on. Bernie Williams coming up. I'm going to have a little breathing room here early tonight. He gets only one. He gets a gift strike on that first pitch to Jock Jones with Torrey Hunter and Corey Koski to follow for the Twins, who are down by 1. 0-1 pitch from Pettitte. 1 ball, 1 strike. Another one. You didn't ask, but Jock Jones' mother became friends with Tony Gwynn while working at Kentucky Fried Chicken near Gwynn's house in San Diego. And then Jock got the opportunity to work out with Tony Gwynn. Huh? This'll work off some chicken. Backing up, moving around. And Andy Pettitte finally tags out Jones, and the faithful here at Yankee Stadium didn't like this too much. Are you serious?
He's messing around. He's out anyway. Why not have a little fun?
That's right.
Get your running in.
With 1 out, nobody on. Hunter fouls it out of play off to the right. How good is this guy in center field? And everything about him is electric. He's got a great smile. He's a guy that really well spoken, and he's been a guy that's anchored center field. We all remember that catch he made in the All-Star game 2 years ago in Milwaukee. Can't remember who won that game. There's a ground ball to short. Jeter to his left. 2 up, 2 down.
I'll tell you, if Andy Pettitte continues to throw as hard and as heavy as he's thrown so far, the Yankees will win this game. I don't think, as far as those two things, hard and heavy, he's already broken 3 bats. He has 2 strikeouts. This is an uncharacteristic game for Pettitte so far because he's very, very strong tonight.
The pride of Enola, Manitoba, takes a breaking ball for a strike. And his entry in high school yearbook known as the Doctor of Style. So the good doctor waits for an 0-1 pitch with 2 out, nobody on, and he gets a good rip. 0-2.
Enola, Manitoba has 14 houses in the town. There's 1 restaurant, little cafe, and that's where Corey Koski learned his baseball and his hockey. Long, long winters in Enola.
On 0-2, Koski takes the ball. Favorite hometown restaurant, AJ's Country Kitchen. And in case you're interested, for reservations, call 204-866-4266. That is the number, 204-866-4266.
It is listed, by the way.
With 2 out, nobody on, the 1-2 pitch. You know it's a small town where when you ask Corey Koski how many people are in your hometown, he starts to count. Let's see. The Johnsons live at the end of the block. They have 5 people in their house. It's the way you used to get the attendance in Montreal. Tonight's attendance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. With 2 out, nobody on, a 1-2 pitch from Pettitte. Still 1-2.
Not on Saturday at the Metrodome.
No.
Will that be the case? Just like tomorrow in Florida. South Florida will be buzzing. From what I understand, they already have 56,000 seats sold to the Giants-Marlins game.
With 2 out, nobody on, a 1-2 pitch. The Doctor of Style is taken care of. Andy Pettitte doing his part. 1-0 New York. Fox is brought to you by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. By Radio, starring Cuba Gooding Jr. and Ed Harris in theaters October 24th, rated PG. By Staples, that was easy. And by Sprint, proudly offering picture mail and PCS Vision picture phones. First up, Aaron Boone. He leads it off for the Yankees. That's what he did during the regular season between Cincinnati and New York. Aaron looks back at the home plate umpire. He goes by the name of Ted Barrett and says, no, 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 Ted. That was not a strike. But officially it is, and the count 1 ball, 1 strike. Broken bat, 1 out. Our Sprint virtual manager question, which town, all right, yeah, you can see me read a card. Which town would be the most heartbroken should its team lose in the division series? Boston, Chicago, New York, Atlanta.
Or Enola. Enola, Manitoba.
Or Enola. Now, you can use your PCS Vision phone from Sprint. You can log on to foxsports.com, and I think it's only right that since we gave the number, we call AJ's Country Kitchen in Enola, Manitoba.
Absolutely.
So I'll do that as we play here in the bottom of the second. That floater is on the outside corner for a strike to Nick Johnson. I'm going to need the phone number, though.
204-866.
Yes. 4266.
4266. Yeah, that's it. You've never done this before on television, have you?
No, nor will we do it again. Still busy.
Of course it's busy.
There's a strike, 1 ball, 2 strikes on Nick Johnson. Nick missed 61 games this season. I've lost you for the rest of the inning.
You have.
A 1-2 from Radke. Tied him up. Did he go? No, says the third base umpire, Jim Joyce.
Talked about Andy Pettit breaking bats. Brad Radke has broken bats. Derek Jeter and Jason Giambi. The difference was both of those were base hits.
Tough play. Nice play. Rivas. Terrific with a stretch by Minkiewicz on the other end. 2 out.
What a terrific play by Rivas, throwing from one knee, and Minkiewicz with the stretch.
Look at the size of the glove by Rivas. They give away bigger gloves on glove day at the ballpark.
Little toy draping off his left hand. Normally, infielders' gloves are much, much smaller than outfielders' gloves for that reason, to get into the glove and get rid of the ball quickly.
I remember Bucky Dent, even when he was a coach with the Cardinals, carried with him a glove that was, I mean, it wasn't even half the size of a regular infielder's glove, and that's how he would take infield practice before a game. It's like putting the ball into a smaller cup. Figure if you can catch it in that little baby, no problems in the glove's regulation size, and that thing is teeny.
A toy.
Speaking of Bucky Dent, this is the anniversary of the home run. 1-0 pitch. On the outside corner, a ball and a strike, Juan Rivera. Boston Red Sox. Mike Torres, the ones who suffered because of that home run and that 1-game playoff in '78. Boston lost today out in Oakland. They're down 2-0 after losing 5-1 behind Wakefield against Barry Zito. Here it is, October 2, 1978. 7th inning, 2 out, 3-run shot. Over the monster, into the net. And Bucky Dent, his life changed forever after that swing. Don Zimmer was managing for the Red Sox. Now the right-hand man for Joe Torre. Rivera, a 2-hopper to Rivas. And we go into the third. Radke's done a nice job here in the start. Got out of big trouble in the first and has a perfect second. Third inning rolls in on a brisk night in New York. 1-0 Yankees. 1-0 the Yankees on top, and it'll be Pierzynski, then Guzman, then Shannon Stewart. 8-9-1 for Minnesota. Up a game, down a run. One pitch, 2 hops, 1 out. 9:01 on the scoreboard clock here at Yankee Stadium. See it way off in the distance there. You are watching Fox. I am Joe. You'll hear Tim in moments. I don't know what he's going to say, but it'll be great. I know that. Michael Weissman is our producer. Billy Webb is our director, with hundreds of people running around propping us all up to make us look good. Christian Guzman, former Yankee, digs his way in, a Yankee farmhand and a guy who has turned into one of the best all-around shortstops in the game with the Twins. With one out, Guzman takes strike one.
Yeah, the Twins had to play that wait-and-see game as far as prospects were concerned. Guzman, Eric Milton, and two others going to the Minnesota Twins for Chuck Knobloch back in 1998.
Milton injured for a good portion of the season, really pitching well down the stretch. But the Twins will go with Loesch in game 3 against Roger Clemens. That'll be on Saturday. This crowd wants to see strikeout number 4. It's still 0-2. Little interesting tidbit on Christian Guzman. Didn't ask, but participated only in soccer and boxing until age 15 when he started baseball. Signed by the Yankees 6 months later. No investigation pending. With one out, nobody on, no balls, 2 strikes. Guzman slaps at it and fouls it. Right into the bunting.
You can tell by the swings the Twins are taking, they haven't gotten the ball out of the infield yet. 2 strikeouts and 5 ground outs. Guzman hit it off the end of the bat, foul down the third baseline, and now off the handle foul toward the Yankee dugout.
How can the Yankees even entertain the idea of not making all the possible efforts to sign Andy Pettitte?
They can't, and I don't think they will. I think they have got to sign Andy Pettitte.
If Wells is finished after this year, he may move on. You don't have a left-hander. You got a guy that's won 21 games this season. Posada could not hang on. It's still 0-2 on Guzman.
And you've got to have a good left-handed starter in this ballpark because of the 314 porch down the right field line. His buddy Roger Clemens is retiring after this year. And unless the Yankees can coerce, the Yankees and Brian Cashman, their GM, can coerce Clemens to play another year, to pitch another year.
On the outside corner, a wide strike, 2 out.
That was a very smart pitch and call by Posada. They're going in, and now the backdoor slider gets Guzman.
Gillette Mach 3 Turbo reminds fans that the winner of a VIP trip to the 2003 World Series in the Get Closest to the Game sweepstakes is still out there. So visit participating retailers and look for specially marked packs for your chance to win. With 2 out, nobody on, here is Shannon Stewart. Walked his first time and then didn't move. Rivas struck out, Minkiewicz struck out, and LeCroy bounced back to Pettitte.
Stewart is the one guy that dominates Andy Pettitte. The second highest active batting average against Pettitte, 444. 24 for 54.
Into center field, and there's a base hit. On base twice against a guy he has hit well. Look at Shannon Stewart and what he has meant to this Minnesota Twins team since he came over from Toronto. 65 games at .322 average. RBIs, the run scored. Game 1, 2 for 5 with a double. And everybody was talking about that catch that he made in left field in the 9th inning on Matsui. People started talking about Puckett in 91 and Allison in 65.
If it wasn't a game saver, it was close to it.
A check on Stewart with Rivas at the plate. You wonder about Pettitte and the state of Texas. He's from there. Houston didn't add anybody significant down the stretch. You wonder how much money they're willing to spend on a free agent deal for a guy like Pettitte. And then there's the Texas Rangers, and they're trying to figure out which way's up.
I don't think money's going to be the issue. I think placement is. If Andy wants to go back and spend more time with his 3 children, I think he'll sign with the Texas team. Otherwise, the Yankees will blow, you know, the Rangers and the Astros right out of the water as far as money's concerned.
That gets away, and the tying run will go down to second. Stewart down there on a pitch that got away, and Posada didn't look like got down and blocked it.
It's a ball that may have hit the dirt, but it's a ball that's got to be handled and wasn't handled because the way Posada went about it. They have all the respect in the world for Jorge Posada. He caught 142 games this year, but he gets careless behind the plate, and he tries to reach for a lot of balls instead of going down on the ball and blocking it like he should. That ball jettisoned off the heel of the glove, and it's a wild pitch, but a ball that should have been handled.
And so now a hit away from a tie are the Twins, and it's Rivas with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Now 1-2. Just a final note on Pettit. From what you read, George Steinbrenner has never been totally sold on Andy Pettit. You remember a couple of years ago, he was pushing for a deal, and it was the baseball people with the Yankees, notably Torrey and Stottlemyre, had said, whoa,
right,
you cannot give up on Andy Pettit. Well, who knows if Torrey and Stottlemyre are going to be around here next year. Runner at second, 2 out, 1 ball, 2 strikes on Rivas. Pettit is doing all he can. Top of the order coming up for the Yankees, up by 1. Alfonso Soriano first up, top of the order for the Yankees. Soriano, Jeter, and Giambi. 1-0 New York on a sac fly by Bernie Williams in the first. Brad Radke really did a great job to limit the damage in the first inning and had a perfect second. He starts out the third by jamming Soriano for out number 1. Play Hit the Pros presented by Chevy Silverado, and face real pitches from today's best hurlers. Log on to foxsports.com, keyword games, Chevy Silverado. It's the right truck. With 1 out, here comes Jeter.
Joe, think about the pitching performance thus far. We're not through 3 innings. However, there's been 1 ball hit hard. 1. And that was the 0-2 pitch that Soriano hit to left field. There were 2 flares by Jeter and Giambi, then a flare by Shannon Stewart. All the other balls, toppers and jam shots.
How about Jeter in the postseason? He did get that flare hit in the first inning. He's now 3 out of 4 in this division series, and that adds to his .371 lifetime division series average. Well over 300 in the postseason, and he hits this one to deep center, but it hangs up for Torrey Hunter. 2 out. That brings in Giambi, who singled but is in the category of struggling. Here's his manager Joe Torre about that.
Try a little bit too hard, when you try to do too much, it takes its toll on you. And I sense that, first off, Jason's a very proud individual, and he's here to help this ball club. He sits in the middle of our batting order, and I think he's just pressing a little bit. And the only thing I can do for him is go talk to him, pat him on the rear end, and write his name in the lineup, and which is going to happen.
And it happened tonight. Batting third, the DH singled his first time, and he takes a strike over the outside corner. We can tell already that Ted Barrett is going to give these pitchers the sides, and the sides extended to the strike zone. Change up from Radke, and it's 0-2.
There are very few pitchers in the major leagues who can get by with 2 pitches. Pardon me. Brad Radke's one of them. He doesn't throw a breaking ball. He might throw 3 a game that he wastes. Fastball inside, outside, and changeup.
1-2.
I don't know of any other pitcher in the major leagues who gets by with 2 pitches.
Well, you're talking, we've seen basically an 11-mile-per-hour difference between the fastball and the changeup. As Giambi's off balance, reaching for it, and hits a changeup off the end of the bat into right for the final out of the 3rd inning. Radke rolling. Giambi 1 for 2 tonight. We go to the 4th. 1-0 New York. Series on Fox is brought to you by Chevy Silverado. It's the right truck. By Allstate. You're in good hands with Allstate. By McDonald's. And by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Well, the 2 starters tonight. 31-year-old Andy Pettitte making his 26th career postseason start against 30-year-old Brad Radke making only his 4th. And they have been impressive. It'll be Mitkevich, LeCroy, and Jones for the Twins here in the 4th inning. They have a walk and a hit, and both belong to Shannon Stewart. Mitkevich struck out his first time. Another broken bat. Let's go to the tote board. What's that, 4?
At least.
1 out.
I think 4 for the Twins, 3 for the Yankees. Giambi broke his bat on that little looper to right field. That location. You remember in our scouting report we talked about Andy Pettitte having to come inside on left-handed batters tonight. One of the reasons that left-handed batters hit .321 against Andy this year, about 70 points higher than right-handers, was he refused to come inside the left-handed batters. And if you don't do that, you don't intimidate him.
Fastball for strike 1 on LeCroy. Too far inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. You didn't ask, but his teammates have nicknamed him Big Country, which, by the way, is the name of my favorite band. With 1 out, nobody on, 1 ball, 1 strike. Pettitte misses outside, 2-1.
Matthew from South Carolina, and one of his favorite expressions is foot. Foot.
F-O-O-T.
F-O-O-T.
It's kind of a catch-all word.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of like gall darn, like Grady Little says all the time. Gall darn it.
Doesn't like to curse.
No. Right.
But he uses that word foot.
Yeah.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Pettitte has struck out 5. .93 miles per hour from Andy Pettitte. This series will shift to the Metrodome over the weekend, where the Twins are 13-3. Their history in the postseason in that dome. 2 out. Let's head out to Los Angeles. It's a game break, and here's Jeannie Zalasko.
Who had the most potent offense in the American League? That was them. Look at Oakland go. With the help of Barry Zito, the Boston offense was, foot. Virtually silenced. Hey, but Kevin Kennedy can't be contained. Back in action Saturday as the pregame show starts the march to Game 4 between the Cubs and Braves. Trip to the championship on the line. 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific.
Jeannie, thanks. We're proud of you. 2 out, nobody on. Here is Jock Jones, who grounded back to Pettitte his first time and then backed up, and then the crowd booed him, and then he smiled and went back to the dugout. So far, 1 out of 5 in this series. One ball, 1 strike. Double J, his nickname. Double J, his nickname. 1 ball, 1 strike. On the outside corner, 1-2.
When you're that consistent on the corners, you get pitches like that.
Pettit, 2-2. You talked about it last inning. Guys are just slapping at the ball. Just trying to make contact somehow.
Yep. Like Jock Jones or Double J right here.
Who's coming up for New York? The heart of the order, Williams, Posada, Matsui. 1-0 Yankees into the bottom of the fourth. 1-0. Brad Radke is back to work. T-Mac and Half a Buck with you as we get ready for action in the bottom of the fourth inning.
Not Double J, huh?
1-0. The Yankees on top. Bernie Williams first up, then Jorge Posada, then Hideki Matsui. Bernie the only RBI of the night, but you said it at the time. He got a run home, but it was just a little flare into center field that advanced one runner, and the Yankees missed a golden opportunity to make a statement in the first inning. 0-1 from Radke. Ball and a strike.
There is talk around the batting cage all the time, and some of the players kidding each other. If guys aren't hitting the ball consistently on the fat part of the bat, they'll ask the player, can I read that when you're through? Meaning it sounds like he's hitting with a newspaper.
That's third base side. And it stays in play for out number 1.
That is yet another ball that sounds like it's being hit with a newspaper tonight. I mean, there are not a lot of balls, or have been a lot of balls hit hard and on the button tonight. Not even foul back. Both pitchers extremely sharp.
Jorge Posada struck out his first time, and as he struck out, Jeter stole third. Matsui then followed that with runners at the corners, 2 out. He struck out. One thing you know you're going to get with Radke is a guy with immaculate control. Number 2 among active pitchers in that walks per 9 innings pitched ratio. Number 1 is his teammate Reed. That is a fair ball and a double. So Posada with the first extra base hit of the night, and he's at second with 1 out.
And Posada broke his bat on that hit, hitting it off the end of the bat. But it was a good piece of hitting by Posada. That ball tailing away, and he went with it, and it just stays fair by about 4 inches. Probably more doubles of that sort at this ballpark than any ballpark in the major leagues, because you have the crowd down both lines.
With a runner at second, 1 out. Matsui takes the ball up and in. Hideki ended the season 287, 106 RBIs, and for a while he was the Yankees' most reliable RBI man. patient with that pitch. It's 2-0. The game's coming your way tomorrow on ESPN2. The Giants at the Marlins. 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. And on ESPN, Game 3, Fryer against Maddox at Wrigley Field. That's tomorrow night. Here's a 2-0 pitch. Matsui breaks his bat and grounds one to Rivas. 2 out.
Yet another piece of tinder. Yeah, that matchup in Chicago tomorrow, Cy Young and Cy Future. As Mark Pryor, before he's through, is going to win 2 or 3 Cy Young awards himself. What a fine young arm he has. I think Greg Maddux will pitch well tomorrow night, and the wind could have a big reason. The wind blowing out or blowing in tomorrow could be an indicator of who wins that ball game.
You look at Aaron Boone and the family connections. Grandfather Ray, his dad Bob, his brother Brett. His uncle played in the NHL. Great bloodlines, and he's looking for a 2-out RBI hit. 1 ball, 1 strike. And there is that talented family. Add a day back at the vet. That's backing out of play. Strike 2 on Aaron Boone. The vet, which saw its last game at the end of the regular season.
Last Sunday, and what an emotional moment, with Steve Carlton simulating the last pitch, Mike Schmidt rounding the bases, simulating a home run, and who out of the bullpen but Tug McGraw.
On 1-2, Boone checks his swing. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Aaron holding up on the changeup out of the strike zone.
Full count. It almost looked like Boone was willing to let that pitch hit him. Didn't do much to get out of the way, and Pierzynski couldn't corral it. It's a full count.
You can see Pierzynski sitting inside, setting up inside. That ball just dipping out of the strike zone.
3-2 pitch. Slow roller, foul.
That was an interesting play because on that foul ball, Posada retreated to third. There are 2 outs. Jorge is not a good base runner. Yankees had some problems on the bases the other day. But watch this. Here's a foul ball on the ground. Posada backs up. It's a ball, if anything, you're going to take off.
On 3-2, Boone, another squirter. Radke off the mound, and the inning is over. A 1-out double by Posada. He is left on, and the Yankees have stranded 3. We go to the 5th inning already of Game 2. The Yankees leading this one 1-0. Back after this from your local Fox station. Hunter first step for the Twins here in the 5th inning. And that misses down at in ball 1. It'll be Hunter, Koski, and Pierzynski. A 1-0 delivery. Everything working tonight for Andy Pettitte. 1 ball, 1 strike.
After missing with the cut fastball inside, he changes speeds on Hunter.
That's hit into left center field. Bernie Williams back at the wall. It's gone. Home run to tie it at 1. Torrey Hunter, who hit 26 during the regular season, goes deep, and it's 1-1 here in the 5th.
Hunter leading the Twins in home runs and RBIs, and he gets a big one here. It's a myth in baseball that every home run that's hit is a mistake. That's a myth. Good hitters hit good pitches out, but that was a mistake from Andy Pettitte.
Nobody on or out, and Corey Koski at the plate. Breaking ball for a strike.
This is a lollipop, and look how far he misses. Posada sitting up inside, and that ball right over the middle of the plate.
On 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
In fairness, Joe, you know, lollipops are popped up too. But not this one. Oh, man.
On 1-1. Koski swings at it, strike 2. Corey Koski with a close bond with his manager, Ron Gardenhire. Gardenhire, who worked with him to make him a very good defensive third baseman. Batting down in the number 7 spot. Koski tried to check it. He didn't. 1 out. 8 strikeouts for Pettitte.
Three of those strikeouts on check swings. As Koski goes too far, that was very, very close. But punched out by Jim Joyce, the third base umpire.
Now Pierzynski. Last 2 years combined, he's hit .306, and there aren't many catchers across baseball doing that. Pettitte hits the inside corner. One through the air that counted. The home run by Torrey Hunter here in the 5th inning.
That nobody could catch.
On 0-1. Ties up Pierzynski. There's another example of Pettitte working inside the left-handed batter.
By design, as Posada sets up in there and Andy hits his spot.
Pierzynski swung and missed, and out at first for out number 2.
That was a very good play by Posada because he let the little tap develop.
Now Pierzynski's going to go back and try to tell him it's a foul ball.
Yeah, but he should know that it doesn't matter where the ball hits initially. If the ball trickles fair, it's a fair ball. And Posada lets it develop. Watch, he doesn't reach for it right away. Boom. Now he pounces on it, throws him out. See, it hits in foul territory. Now the overspin carries it in fair territory, and now Pierzynski runs. But too late. That's a fair ball. Nicely done by Posada.
So he was patient enough, and the putout is 2-3 as opposed to a strikeout. You could hear the ball hit something, but it hit the bat and then ended up rolling into fair territory.
That weird overspin took it just even with the plate. Tell you, Torrey Hunter's home run should count for like 6 runs. The way these guys are pitching tonight. That's a feat to hit a home run off of the way Andy Pettitte's pitching.
8 strikeouts, 2 hits allowed, a walk allowed, and that's it. But Brad Radke's been right there with him. To the shortstop, Jeter. Low throw and safe as Jeter goosed it over to first. We are seeing things happen from this Yankees team in this series that you just can't believe.
I think Yankee fans saw it all year. The normally reliable Derek Jeter, not even throwing the ball hard. Derek never takes things for granted like that. But it's indicative of the style of play that the Yankees have had, and it has persisted during the playoffs, at least for a game and a half.
hoping that Nick Johnson could dig it out was Jeter. He couldn't. And now it's Shannon Stewart, and this is the last guy Pettit wants to see at the plate. I mentioned .444 average in his career against this lefty Pettit, and he's walked and singled tonight. Ball one. Stewart with 73 RBIs on the season. And a guy that when he hits the open market, he's a free agent to be. I'm sure the Yankees will take a good, long, hard look at him. Been paid over $6 million by the Toronto Blue Jays to play for the Twins.
Talk about good moves made around the All-Star break. Terry Ryan, the general manager of the Twins, made a dandy move by picking up Stewart. A freebie. All you have to pay him is meal money. You lose Bobby Keelty, give him meal money, and he produces like that. I'd say he's worth it.
1 ball, 1 strike. And you see that more and more now, where teams are willing to make a deal where they're basically paying for a prospect. They're paying for a guy that they think can help them down the road, and they're willing to pay a salary. In this case, it was Shannon Stewart to play for the Twins to make that happen. To the second baseman, Soriano, and it goes past him. Over to third is Guzman. And it's first and third, 2 out, and this Yankee Stadium crowd is letting the Yankees have it again with another defensive mistake.
Well, it may go as a base hit, but it's a ball that's got to be caught. There are 2 things. The ball got by Pettit, and it looked like Soriano was fooled, thinking maybe Andy had caught the ball or knocked it down. And I'm not sure about the second base umpire, but that's from game 1. The sloppy play by Soriano, and then Bernie Williams, and Soriano again. So it is a base hit, but it's a ball that clearly should have gotten the Yankees out of the inning.
Whether he was deked by Pettit or just flat out didn't see it come off the bat, he got a late break on that ball and ended up just flailing at it as the inning continues for Rivas.
You know, the second base umpire, where he's positioned right there, you could almost understand it. Not making excuses for Soriano, but Pettit almost catching the ball. The second base umpire almost in his way. He may have been shielded. I don't know.
Down and in, ball 1 to Rivas. Rivas with 43 RBIs during the regular season could put the Twins on top here in the 5th. First and third, 2 out. Boone. Yankee fans hold their breath and the inning is over.
Here's what we were talking about on the Soriano play. Second base umpire and the pitcher, and watch the route of the ball. Line drive, Pettit misses it. I think the umpire blocked him out, in fairness.
The Twins have tied it on the home run by Hunter. 1 in the bottom of the 5th, and Nick Johnson first up for the Yankees. Rivera and Soriano will follow. 8-9-1 against Radke. And Brad Radke has been terrific. Ball 1 up and in. Radke is allowed a run on 4 hits. He struck out 2. Johnson is jammed, and he pops it up for out number 1. It was a foul ball when it came down. Nick Johnson 0 for 2, and here comes Juan Rivera. Joe Torre likes the possibilities with Juan Rivera more than he liked going with Kareem Garcia or David DeLucci. DeLucci with a bad ankle is on this roster more as a pinch hitter, and Rivera, Torre thinks he could surprise people by getting a pitch to drive and doing something with it. He finished the season strong. Ended up hitting .266 with 7 home runs and 26 RBIs. He reaches out and flies one into left center. Easy for Shannon Stewart. 2 out.
That was the first breaking ball that Brad Radke's thrown tonight. We talked about how Brad will throw 3 or 4 a game, and it looked like a little slider just off the plate away, but off the end of the bat. Gene Mott, who was a terrific manager and never really won the big prize, the World Series, used to say that a pitcher and a catcher, their main job is to keep the ball off the fat part of the bat, and are both pitchers doing that tonight very, very well.
Soriano with a solid single to left, his first time up. He has scored the only run of the night for the Yankees. And I know we keep saying this, but back in the first, down 1-0, the Yankees loaded the bases with nobody out. Had Bernie Williams, Posada, and Matsui coming up and got only 1 run. Shortstop Guzman can't get it. And 2 out of 3 is Soriano as he extends this 5th inning.
Off the handle. I'd pitch out if I were the Twins on the first pitch. With 2 outs, a lot of times the number of outs in an inning dictate whether a guy's going to run or not. The reason they try to run early in the count is to give the hitter a chance to work the count and to be able to hit instead of waiting for him. So it's a running situation for Soriano right here.
At some point in this at bat, if it lasts long enough, he's got to try to steal.
No question.
Ball 1.
Thing about pitching out with Derek Jeter is Jeter's a bad ball hitter anyway, and it's very difficult to walk Derek Jeter. He's a free swinger, so you don't really suffer much by pitching out. Of course, now the count is in Jeter's favor. Chance of a pitch out's remote.
So instead, a throw over. 35 steals during the regular season. Back in the first inning after a leadoff hit. First pitch to Jeter. With nobody out of the inning, Soriano was running. Not running as Jeter takes ball 2. And the count even more in the favor of Jeter and Soriano. Pitch out is gone as a possibility with a count 2-0. Starts and stops, and a wide strike to make it 2-1 on Jeter.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to fake break with the count 2 balls and no strikes to a good hitter. When you do that, you get his attention toward the runner, and you're really not doing anything. There's no purpose in fake breaking in that situation.
See if Soriano takes off here.
Derek Jeter stepping out to give Soriano a chance to regroup at first base.
He's going. Pierzynski's through. Too late.
What a quick release by Pierzynski. Bad pitch to handle. Whenever catcher has to backhand the ball and make the throw, tough pitch to handle. I think the left hand was in when he tagged him on the left shoulder. Closer look. I don't know. Terrific throw by Pierzynski.
He was out. Called safe. 3 balls and a strike on Jeter. A high fastball. It's a full count.
One more look. Was his left hand on the bag? No. Looked like the fingers were splayed and up.
Yankee fans ask Jeter for a big 5th inning hit. Now it's up to Giambi. First walk of the night by Radke. This Yankee team is now 2 out of 15 with runners in scoring position in this series so far. 1 for 5 tonight. And it's Giambi with 2 on, 2 out. The Yankees need their big money DH to deliver here in the 5th. Way out in front of a changeup. The bigger the batter, the softer he throws it.
The more frustrating the batter. Right.
Radke trying to work his way out of trouble. Off the hands, and it's 0-2.
Think about that difficult sequence. Change up low and away, fastball up and in.
Pressure on Giambi here in the 5th inning. Showing that fastball up, it's 1-2. Radke did not want to throw a strike with that 0-2 fastball.
He may not throw one here with that changeup low and away. We'll see how they work Giambi. They've shown him those 2 high fastballs to work the count in their favor. Looks like a changeup low and away.
Nope. Got it. High fastball, and Giambi comes up empty. Another chance gone for the Yankees. We go to the 6th, tied at 1. We move into the 6th inning of this division series. It's game 2. Minnesota on top 1-0. Straight up 10 o'clock here in the East, and Andy Pettitte, who has been outstanding, heads back to work. He and Brad Radke grabbed the headline so far. The only RBI for the Yankees, Bernie Williams, a sac fly in the 1st. And it was Torrey Hunter with a leadoff home run in the 5th inning. The only runs. Last inning, Pettitte pitched around a couple of misplays behind him to keep it 1-1 as Mientkiewicz takes a strike. So here are the big payroll Yankees. A $115 million difference in payrolls between these 2 organizations. and the teams that they're fielding. And the Minnesota Twins won game 1, a final of 3-1. The Yankees have missed opportunities tonight. Again, more defensive miscues. And this Yankee Stadium crowd is restless. 2-1 pitch. Minkevich, 3-1.
Put that very well. It's like the Chase Manhattan Bank against the Bank of Enola, Manitoba.
That's right. And to the Twins' credit, they have rolled in here and not been intimidated one bit.
Their confidence, very impressive.
And it's growing by the inning. Second walk handed out by Pettit, and it's a leadoff walk here in the 6th inning. You look at the differences between these two, David versus Goliath. The Twins franchise, the Yankees, the 26 World Series titles, the 2 for the Twins. First season, first place finishes. But if this is David versus Goliath, David's got a good bullpen. David's got a good rotation. David's got a good defensive team. And David's got an aggressive team on the bases, and they put the bat on the ball.
David's got more in a slingshot this time.
No doubt. 1 on, nobody out for Lee Croy. Matthew 0 for 2 as he takes a strike. And you can just feel the tension in this stadium as it is getting serious here in the 6th inning. Late swing, strike 2.
A lot of times when pitching coaches are sitting on the side, they gauge the velocity of a pitcher by the way the hitter swings. Late swings are good anytime, but particularly in the middle innings.
On 0-2. Ball 1. After Lee Croy, it's Jock Jones and Torrey Hunter.
I got so many.
Going to first, and Minkevich read it easily.
Yeah, Minkevich is not a fast runner. There are 3 Twins who are not fast runners: Minkevich, Lee Croy, and Pierzynski. All the others can run very, very well.
Here's a 1-2. 2-2. This game started, it was 52 degrees. It feels like the temperatures dropped a little, upper 40s. See all these players blowing into their bare hand, including Andy Pettit. He's been blowing into that left hand all night. His 2-2 pitch to Lee Croy. Breaking ball is popped into shallow right. That's Rivera, and that's out number 1. That'll bring in Jock Jones, and we'll see how aggressive inside Andy Pettit is with Jones at the plate. So far 0 for 2. He's grounded back to the pitcher and struck out.
Twins with 3 hits, and left-handers have not come close to Pettit tonight. Not a hit by the 4 left-handers in the lineup so far.
Ron Gardenhire talking about Jones. He liked his chances against Pettit. And again, that's a foul tip. As he told us before the game, these are our best players. I may go with the kids later on in the game, but if I'm going into this game, I'm getting my best out on the field, and that's what he's done with his lineup. It doesn't matter that a lefty's on the mound. He's staying with the veterans that have put him in a position to get into the playoffs and now have a 1-game-to-none lead. That fastball misses. It's 1-1.
Ron telling us also that he did that last year against Oakland. And think of the Oakland left-handed pitching. Mark Mulder, who didn't make the postseason. He's hurt. But Barry Zito won the Cy Young Award last year, and they beat a very good Oakland team, who's now 2-0 up on Boston.
2-1 on Jones.
Barry Zito beating the Red Sox today in Oakland 5-1.
On 2-1. Back to Pettit. Knocks it down. Will fire to second. And that's the only out the Yankees can get. Doug Minkiewicz, who will head back to the dugout, is wearing a microphone for us. He was talking to Nick Johnson, the first baseman for the Yankees. He was saying, hey, Nick, Pettit ever catch you napping over here at first?
They ever picked you off before?
No, I pretty much. I can see it pretty much. Every once in a while.
Kenny Rogers hit me in the chest with the first pick over in spring training. I thought I killed him.
Two first basemen talking it over at first. Andy Pettit, so good at going over there. Now it's Jones running, and a ground ball up the middle. Jeter, a diving stop, and he flips. The runner, Jones, was already at the bag, and that should be another hit for Torrey Hunter. Jeter did all he could, but I think, Tim, even with an accurate throw and Soriano coming up with it, Jones would have been safe.
That's the advantage of having Jones run on that play. The speed of Jones pays off in a very small way. Because had he not been running, Jeter can take his time with this little flip. As it is, he throws it over Soriano, but had Soriano make the catch, you're right.
Really was aggressive base running that helped the Minnesota Twins take game one of this division series. The running of Guzman in particular. Going first to third on a hit to left, running on Matsui. Scoring on a shallow sac fly to center, running on Bernie Williams. Here's Koski. Ball one. In-game box score for the Twins is brought to you by Midas, and there aren't many hits. In fact, just two guys. Hunter has 2 hits, including a home run, and Shannon Stewart 2 hits and a walk. 1-0 pitch. Trying to stay inside to Koski. It's 2-0.
Jeter has been carrying on a conversation with Aaron Boone, the third baseman, saying, look, I'm the only guy who's going to be able to hold Jones on at second base, so cover the hole between short and third. There is a big hole for a guy who goes the other way like Koski.
The 2-0 pitch. 3-0. Koski's last home run was the 5th of July. He's been bothered by a bad back this season, and you can see that hole on the left side as Jeter is trying to keep Jack Jones close at second.
I don't think you ought to worry about Jack Jones in this situation. There are 2 outs. He's not going to run anyway with the left-handed batter up there.
3-0 pitch. 3-1. Good speed on for Minnesota. Koski drove home 69 during the regular season. Good pitch. 3-2.
That was a cut fastball right on the corner. Now that gets the crowd back into it.
And now a visit from Jorge Posada. The Yankees in the bottom of this inning will have Williams, Posada, and Matsui. Runners will go. Still 1-1 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Bernie Williams, who has the only RBI for the Yankees. They miss Paul O'Neill in uniform with this Yankee team.
What a player.
No more Tino Martinez, who's now in St. Louis. Roches had a good run here. Paul O'Neill was always right in the middle of it for the Yankees. 1 ball, no strikes. Posada next. And then Matsui. Radke 3 strikeouts. None bigger than that last one. That's popped up. Easy for Torrey Hunter. 1 out. You remember our Sprint virtual manager question, which town would be the most heartbroken should its team lose in the division series? And you all came up with Boston. 37%. They're down 2 games to none. You answered by using your PCS Vision phone from Sprint, or you logged on to foxsports.com. 1 out here in the 6th inning, and here's Posada. Good fastball for a strike. Remember that strikeout? We didn't really get a chance to talk about it with Giambi. Last inning, 2 on, 2 out. Talked about the fastball that missed up. Everybody, I'm sure, including Giambi, looking for a changeup down and away.
I was.
And Radke came right back with a high fastball, and Giambi swung through it.
It's the one thing that Kevin Kennedy pointed out on the pregame show. That Giambi's been chasing that pitch, and he's done so tonight too.
Two balls and a strike on Posada, who hit 30 home runs during the regular season. Shooting for one there, and he comes up empty. 2-2.
Change up and a fastball count.
To the right side. What a play by Minkiewicz. To his left for the out. 2 down. Boy, that was a tough play for Minkiewicz to his left.
We said it earlier. They can catch the ball on defense. They may have the surest hands of any defense in baseball. Minkiewicz cheating toward the line to prevent a double, an extra base hit, as most teams do in the late innings of a tie ball game, close game. Nice play by Minkiewicz.
Matsui with the bases empty. 2 out in the 6th. Fastball for a strike. Been 90, 91 all night with that fastball. 79 or 80 with a changeup. Strike 2. Statistically, you talk about Radke. When he gets over 76 pitches, opponents have teed off on him this season. 349 opponents' batting average. He's at 80 right now. And he has 2 out, nobody on here in the 6th inning. 0-2 to Matsui. Ball 1. Two and 2. Matsui hit 16 home runs during the regular season. Now it's full.
Fastball hitting count. Matsui with some power, short porch and right. They get a change up here probably.
And it's ball 4. A 2-out walk, and the second walk handed out by Radke.
Radke going with the fastball on that 3-2 count.
Now it's Aaron Boone.
Joe, there's several things that you try to stay away from in late innings of a tie ball game, and one is pitching guys inside too much, because that's obviously the pitch to jerk. So Radke trying to stay away. It's not that you can't show a fastball inside or a slider inside, as Pettit has done to right-handed batters, but for the most part, they're going to try to stay away.
Aaron Boone, a late swing and a miss.
Pinpoint control by Radke.
5 hits for the Yankees, only 4 for Minnesota. 0-1 pitch. Another fastball, another swing and a miss. It's 0-2.
He really missed with that fastball. That ball wandering back toward the middle of the plate, but missed by Boone. That pitch was hittable, that last one.
Boone now set up at 0-2. Matsui was. He eventually walked. Matsui does not run much. 2 out of 4 in the stolen base department. In case you wonder. Boone stays alive. Aaron Boone had a flair for the dramatic early with a lot of late inning and walk-off home runs for that Cincinnati team that featured quite a few of those. They didn't pile up a ton of wins, but the ones that they had, especially in the first half of the season, were all dramatic. And Boone in the month of April was a big part of that. Came to the Yankees, hit 6 home runs for New York. Pitch out on 0-2, and they are worried about Matsui.
Yeah, not a good inaugural season for the Cincinnati Reds in their new ballpark. Great American Park in Cincinnati. Saw some desperate trades around July 31st.
On 1-2, Boone stays up there, and that pitch was up.
That was up and a mistake. There are some pitches that are up that aren't mistakes, but see that little hump right there? Usually that indicates a pitcher got under the breaking ball. It's a dangerous pitch to anybody, but especially a big guy like Boone.
Pretty good battle put on by Aaron Boone now with 2 quick strikes. Able to foul a few off. Yankees had to end up trading Brandon Clausen, their top left-handed starting pitching prospect, part of the Aaron Boone deal. One-two. Another foul.
Always felt that the more a hitter swings and fouls balls off, the more off the plate you can go. Just keep going farther and farther and farther off the plate.
Another 1-2 and another foul.
Inherently, all hitters hate to be called out on strikes. That's why you get a guy like Boone who has fouled off a bunch of pitches. If you're the pitcher, you just keep going away, 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 farther off the plate.
Inning over. A 9-pitch at bat. Up over 90 for Radke on the night. That's strikeout number 4. 7th inning. Still 1-1 in the Bronx. Seventh inning now. Bottom 2 in the lineup for Minnesota. That means Pierzynski, Guzman, and then back to the top, Shannon Stewart. 1-1 game. A total of 9 hits. That's it. As ball 1 misses inside to Pierzynski. AJ has grounded out twice. A 1-0. 2-0.
We talked about nicknames earlier in the game. We haven't talked about the elongated version of AJ's name. It's Anthony John from Bridgehampton, New York. So he's back home.
Here's a 2-0 pitch to Anthony John. Rolled over to second. Soriano to his left. 1 out. This week on Fox NFL Sunday, the pregame show, Mike Holmgren returns to Green Bay. And we'll look at those surprising undefeated Seahawks. Plus more on Emmett's return to Dallas and Mariucci's return to San Francisco. It's Old Home Week. And how about Donovan McNabb? Everything he's been through this week, and now a win for the Eagles. They will host the Washington Redskins, and they'll talk to Donovan. That's on the Ford F-150 Fox NFL Sunday pregame show. Sunday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox. Ball 1 to Guzman. Christian is 0 for 2. 2-0 from Pettit. Two and 1. Three and 1. I think one of the more interesting stories with Minnesota has to do with Tom Kelly, the longtime manager of the Twins, one of the best managers ever. The kind of success he had there. Won the 2 World Championships in '87 over St. Louis and '91 over Atlanta. And you talk about a guy helping out the organization. He is advanced scouting for the Twins and is in constant communication with Ron Gardenhire, who was on his staff and took over for him when he called it quits. 3-2 pitch. A 1-out walk. One on, 1 out. And we talk about Andy Pettit. And he has been steady, no doubt about that. 149 career victories for the Yankees. 5th in Yankee history with those 1,275 strikeouts. And the 10 postseason wins, albeit with many more chances than some of the Yankee greats before divisional play. And LCS play, division series play. That's in for a strike. The leadoff man, Shannon Stewart.
Tom Kelly calling Ron Gardenhire yesterday morning and fretting about perhaps forgetting something the night before, and Gardy said, hey, we won yesterday.
I just think it says so much about a guy who had as much success as Kelly did in Minnesota. He's helping out the guy who succeeded him. Now, he was on his staff.
And he's being paid, obviously. Obviously, all of those things.
But he is ferocious about advanced scouting. And he's rooting for the guy who took over his spot, which I think says a lot about him.
Yep.
Makes you think of Al Newman, who is back home and watching these games and doing a lot better. Brain hemorrhage, September 10th. And Al is very much in the hearts of these players, and his jersey hanging in the dugout while the Twins play here in New York, as Stewart is out in front of that pitch. And it's 0-2. Look at Al Newman and his career. Twins second baseman, 2 World Series titles. And they're thinking of Al, as this crowd Watches an 0-2 pitch come from Pettit to Shannon Stewart. Ball one. On deck is Rivas, the second baseman. The clicker and the pitch count. A check on the runner at first. Up over 100 pitches in this start for Pettit. Joe Torre is not opposed to using Mariano Rivera for 2 innings here tonight in the right situation. 1 on, 1 out, and 2-2 on Shannon Stewart.
We asked Joe that. You specifically asked Joe that tonight in our meeting before the game. And we didn't follow up with whether it was with the lead or not, but I would assume it would have to, that the Yankees would have to have a lead for Joe to do that, as opposed to a 1-1 ball game.
Two out.
Talk about wicked stuff. It's a term players use now. It's filthy. This thing is ridiculous.
Career high for strikeouts in a game for Pettit is 12. He has 10 tonight, and it's his career postseason high.
Pettit stuff hasn't bathed in a year.
No.
I mean, one fly ball out to the outfield.
With 2 out, Rivas takes a pitch in the dirt. This time, Posada a little better at getting down and blocking it, which is important when you've got a runner at first, 2 out, and a guy who's not a huge home run threat at the plate in Rivas.
Take a look at the Yankee outfielders, too. They're playing a step or two deeper with 2 out in a tie game in the 7th inning. They're in their no doubles defense.
Fastball's high. It's 2-0. At the bottom of the inning, it'll be Nick Johnson, Juan Rivera, and Alfonso Soriano. Each side starting the 7th inning with the 8 and 9 hitters. A 2-0 pitch to Rivas. Good pitch on 2-0 on the inside corner. 2-1. Minkiewicz on deck. Guzman or any runner can't get too comfortable taking a lead over at first.
That could come into play if Rivas finds a gap in the outfield or hits a ball down the line. Keep him a step closer, a step or two closer at first base. That could mean the difference perhaps in a play at the plate.
On 2-1. 2-2. Into center field, Bernie Williams. Let's stretch. The Division Series on Fox is brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. Absolute beautiful rendition of God Bless America, and Ronan Tynan, the Irish tenor, gives you chills every time he performs that here at Yankee Stadium. He is sensational. Ron Gardenhire talking about this Minnesota Twins team and talking about their perception around baseball. I think this says it all.
When they talk about our team, we've been called feisty, aggressive, low budget, small budget. Nobody's ever said we're good. That's amazing to me. We're not bad. We're a pretty good baseball team. And that word never comes out. Hey, these guys are good.
I think that's well said. And I think it's something that if they weren't aware of that going into this series here in New York, they are now. This is a very good and very dangerous Minnesota team.
I think the New York Yankee players were certainly aware of that, even if the fans perhaps weren't. I mean, here's a team who won 90 ball games during the course of the year. They won only 86 when they won the World Championship back in 1987 against the Cardinals. But a lot of people saying, well, it's an easy division and all that. Bunk, says Ron Gardenhire.
Well, he had the ability, and he did it this year, of getting these guys to play for him. The Minnesota Twins were disappointing in the first half. No team played better in the second half record-wise than the Minnesota Twins. And it really all came after he held a press conference after a game and said, I apologize to the Twins fans for the way we just played. We got guys out there trying to pitch, do all they can. It happened in the middle part of August, and after that, they just absolutely took off. Before the bottom of the seventh in a 1-1 game, we'll check in with Jeannie Zelasco for a game break.
K-Square, Jay-Z here, just enjoying the baseball. Barry Zito sure enjoyed his day. He returned to Cy Young form at the expense of the Red Sox, now down 0-2 in the series. And by the way, either the Cubs or Braves will be up against it Saturday when they meet for Game 4. The trip to the NLCS on the line. 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on Fox.
Janie, thanks. We play in the bottom of the seventh. It'll be Nick Johnson, Juan Rivera, and Alfonso Soriano. We talked about it last inning. Action for the Yankees out in their bullpen. And with the way Pettit's pitching, it can only be one guy. Rivera. If the Yankees score a run in this bottom of the seventh, the 8th and 9th innings will belong to Rivera. Hawkins, who is sensational. J.C. Romero, the left-hander, getting loose. That's a little too high, and the count 1 ball, 1 strike on Johnson. That's foul. 1-2. The Yankees down 1-0. Fighting to try to even this series before it heads to the Metrodome, where the Twins have been dominant in the postseason. Leadoff man is on.
of all things, Brad Radke hitting Nick Johnson, a guy with superb control all night, all season, throughout his career, misses inside, and now Rivera will be called upon to bunt. Hear that expression a lot, overthrowing. It looked like Brad Radke was trying to throw that ball through a brick wall.
He hit 5 during the regular season, and now you wonder how the Yankees will play it.
Oh, they'll bunt. I'm sure they'll be bunting. What do you think?
Well, I've already lost one mobile home, so I'm going to lay off that. But, yeah, I would agree with Soriano and Jeter to follow. And the go-ahead run at first and nobody out here in the 7th. You wonder what Rivera's bunting skills are like. He gets it down. It ends up perfect. The sacrifice is good. 1-3 down to second. The go-ahead run. Johnson with 1 out.
Not a good bunt, but an effective bunt. This ball has too much hang time. But Minkiewicz is not fast, and he wasn't charging. I'm a little confused why Minkiewicz wasn't charging, since Johnson's not a real fast runner. I don't think he catches the ball in the air anyway. But an effective sacrifice. Look at Minkiewicz. The first baseman's responsibility is to charge hard, and he stayed back. Radke feels the ball and makes the play, but the sacrifice successful.
And that's going to be it for Radke. What a tremendous job of pitching tonight by Brad Radke, but it may not be enough. Go ahead run at second, 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Minnesota will go to the bullpen. Brad Radke allowed a run on 5 hits, still responsible for Nick Johnson at second. He got into the 7th. A smile from his manager Gardenhire, and here is LaTroy Hawkins. He can throw. Great fastball. His control much better than a couple of years ago, and he has blossomed. A free agent to be.
Not only is control better, he's throwing harder. In the minor leagues, he rarely broke 90. Now he gets it up to 97.
Soriano against Hawkins in his career. 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts, and that ball was just blown by him. Hawkins was the winner in game 1. Came on with a man on in the 7th inning. Walked the first man he faced and then took care of the rest. Go ahead run at second, 1 out. Two balls and a strike. Jeter next. Johnson does not have a ton of speed at second. That's down and in. 3-1.
There's no pitching around Soriano in this situation, and Hawkins is trying to throw strikes. No way do you pitch around Soriano to get to Jeter, one of the great clutch hitters in postseason.
Left side, base hit. Here comes Johnson. The Yankees take the lead 2-1 in the 7th.
A 3-1 fastball. It's down in the strike zone. Remember that first pitch at which Soriano swung. It was up. Johnson scoring easily, and the Yankees take the lead.
Johnson reached when he was hit by a pitch to start the inning. Then the bunt, pitching change, and the hit. Soriano again fakes over at first. Ball one high to Jeter. The 25-year-old Soriano delivers in the seventh. .364 career average against LaTroy Hawkins for Jeter. Off the plate. Hawkins throws wild, and it ends up in the seats. Jeter will go down to second. Soriano will be at third with only one out.
Hawkins thought he had to rush the throw, and he did have to rush it. But he makes a bad throw to Mientkiewicz. From that distance, it's very difficult for a guy like Mientkiewicz to make that play. Soriano looking at the play, as he should. It's tough for a pitcher like Hawkins to throw a changeup to first base. But he had to throw something that Mientkiewicz could handle. I'd be surprised if they walked Giambi here. I think he'd try to throw him high fastballs and get him to pop it up or strike him out.
Second and third, one out. This tells you all you need to know about how the Minnesota Twins feel about the way Giambi's swinging the bat.
Yep.
You've got Bernie Williams on deck. And instead of walking Giambi, who has historically been a huge threat at the plate with first base open, they're going to pitch to him and hope that Hawkins can just blow it by him. The infield is in. Second and third, one out. One ball, one strike.
With the Yankees having a lead by one, Soriano with speed at third base as Hawkins blows it by Giambi. I think on a ground ball, even with the infield in, you send the runner. Take a chance. You have the lead. You have speed on it, third and second.
Strike two. So far, Giambi with a flare hit in the first. 1 out of 7 in this series. 3 strikeouts. Up the middle, 2 runs are going to score. Giambi comes through. Williams digs his way in against the third pitcher of the inning, J.C. Romero. LaTroy Hawkins faced 3. One man, Jeter reached on an error. Hits by Soriano and Giambi, and it's 4-1 here in the 7th. And another base hit.
about LaTroy Hawkins, we talked about when he came in that his high fastball was the pitch with which he was most effective. Look where both balls, first Soriano right there to put the Yankees ahead, and then Giambi with the 2 RBIs with the ball up the middle. For LaTroy Hawkins, the ball down is easier to handle than the ball upstairs, as shown by that great shot right there.
Now Posada takes a strike. You know, you and I were thinking along the same lines about Rivera out in the bullpen now. Now you've got a 3-run lead.
Right.
It could be bigger than a 3-run lead. Therefore not a save situation. But if you're Joe Torre, how much do you want to play with all that? Already down 1 game to none. As that misses high, 1 ball, 1 strike to Posada.
And you've got an off day tomorrow. The Yankees travel tonight to Minneapolis, as obviously the Twins do. So why toy with it? Even if you have a 4-run lead, why not use Rivera at least in the 8th inning?
A 1-1.
Then if the Yankees open things up in the 8th inning, perhaps you'd like to go to somebody else. But right now, this game is ever so precious to the Yankees.
This series will resume on Saturday in Minneapolis. Slow roller, that's a tough play. Romero off balance. Wow, what a play for the second out of the inning. And Romero's a guy who's been bothered by a sore groin as he comes up grimacing after that play. Bothered by a sore groin since early in the season in May.
See, there's no play at third base. Third baseman Corey Koski comes in. Normally a left-hander would have a little flip to get the runner at third base, but Romero with a sensational play to get Posada.
11 o'clock here at Yankee Stadium. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Game 2 of this division series. The Twins won on Tuesday afternoon 3-1. The Yankees trying to take game 2 to even the series before it goes to the upper Midwest. Matsui, strike 1. Matsui struck out, grounded out, and walked. Romero trying to keep it within reach. Rivas stays down on it, and the inning is over. So Romero comes in and does a nice job. But the Yankees have to hope that this inning not only gives them the lead in game 2, but wakes up their bats. 3 runs in the 7th as they take care of their business and lead 4-1 into the 8th. 8th inning, 4-1, the Yankees on top. And they turn it over to Mariano Rivera. Mientkiewicz first up. And ball 1 inside. It'll be Mientkiewicz, LeCroy, and Jones against Rivera, who has 25 career postseason saves, a 6-1 career postseason record with a 0.79 ERA. 1 ball, 1 strike. Do you buy it? I hear those rumors about Rivera that he's not what he was, that his pitches are starting to slow down, that it's starting to wear on him.
I do not. And I'll tell you why I don't. The results may be different this year, but the times that he has gotten into problems, the ground balls that were at guys in other years have found holes this year. The little nubbers that he used to field down the third baseline and the first baseline were base hits. As far as his effectiveness, in my view, it's the same.
And I would imagine Mientkiewicz would agree with you. 1 out.
I think a lot of the stuff that went on in this city about Rivera this year was nonsense. based only on results and not on the way he's throwing and the effectiveness. Sometimes if you base things on results, which guys in the dugout can't do, a guy like Mel Stottlemyre or Joe Torre, they know that it's a broken bat hit or a ball off the end of the bat or a little nubber down the line or a ground ball that found its way through. The most important thing is he throwing as hard as he was, and in my view, yes.
With one out, nobody on, Lee Croyd takes a strike. Matthew tonight is 0 for 3. Broken bat. Aaron Boone, 2 out. Game summary is brought to you by Nissan. Really the story of the starting pitchers. Brad Radke was good. Andy Pettit was even better. 7 innings, 1 run, 4 hits, 3 walks, and 10 strikeouts. Soriano broke the tie in the 7th. Torrey Hunter had tied in the 5th with a home run. Jeter and Soriano, as they have in October's past, helping to put the Yankees back out in front. The breathing room hit came from Jason Giambi with a 2-strike, 2-run single up the middle.
You worded that very well. Breathing room hit as far as this game is concerned and as far as Jason Giambi is concerned.
One ball, 1 strike. ESPN2 will bring you the Giants and Marlins. Game 3 of that series tied 1-1 at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, and on ESPN tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, the Braves and Cubs. Greg Maddux, Mark Pryor. Slow roller. Soriano with a bare hand pickup. Things have really turned around the last half hour for these Yankees. Up 4-1 into the bottom of the 8th. The Division Series on Fox is brought to you by Nissan and your Nissan dealer. By Bank One. Find the credit card that fits you best. Individual answers. Bank One. By T-Mobile, get more minutes, more features, more service. And by Allstate, you're in good hands with Allstate. We move to the bottom of the 8th inning, and Juan Rincon, part of a very good Minnesota bullpen, takes over in the bottom of the 8th. Hawkins didn't get any outs. Allowed 2 runs, 1 earned on 2 hits. Romero 2/3 of an inning, 1 hit. Radke 6 1/3 innings, 2 runs on 5 hits. Rincon misses with ball 1 to Aaron Boone, who's hitless tonight. One and one.
And you could tell from Brad Radke's demeanor when he left the field. He wasn't upset with Ron Gardenhire. I mean, to me, you've got to bring in Hawkins in that situation. You've seen Soriano and Derek Jeter looking at Radke 3 times, and the odds were much greater.
Good play by Rincon.
Of course, you have to make that decision, and obviously Gardenhire did. But the odds are greater for Soriano, Jeter, and Giambi to get a hit off Radke the 4th time on Hawkins rather than Hawkins the 1st time when he's throwing 97 miles an hour. But Hawkins got those 2 fastballs down, the error sandwiched in between, and 3 Yankee runs.
You saw Nelson and Contreras getting loose. That would be only if the Yankees add to what is a 3-run 8th inning lead. As Nick Johnson, who took one of the more important pitches of the night, took a pitch off his hip, hit by a pitch to start the 3-run 7th inning rally. Bunted to second by Juan Rivera, scored on the hit by Soriano. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Of all things, with both starting pitchers as dominant as they were tonight, I never dreamed that that's how the Yankees floodgates would be open and allow 3 runs to score.
On 1-1, Johnson, strike 2. Nick Johnson is hitless in this series. Jeter, who dislocated that left shoulder in opening day in Toronto, stretching it out on a cold October night. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Roger Clemens will pitch game 3 against Kyle Loesch. He's been pitching much better. Had a rough stretch earlier this season. But he is a good right-hander. That's too far outside. And it's 3-2 on Johnson. Loesch and Clemens, their numbers for the season. The final season for the future Hall of Famer Roger Clemens. A 1-out walk. This week it's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. First, Mike Holmgren will take the Seattle Seahawks, who are undefeated, to Green Bay, as the Packers are coming off that Monday night win in Chicago. Then the Redskins try to stay hot when they take on an Eagles team trying to get back to the 500 mark. Or other regional action. Coverage begins Sunday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox. The biggest stories are in the NFC. Tim, I don't know if you know this, but the NFC is on Fox.
Yes, I do.
1 on, 1 out for Rivera.
You will be doing that Redskin-Eagle game from the new facility in Philadelphia, just a train ride away.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing Lincoln Financial Field. Troy Aikman was at the game tonight, trying to beat the rush out of here. But he was here for the record. 1 on, 1 out. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-1 on Rivera. Now Gene Monahan, the trainer for the Yankees, is sitting next to Jeter.
That's a more worrisome shot, I would think. Derek continues to slide head first. Perhaps he aggravated that doing so tonight. I remember that close play at third base earlier in the game. Where Corey Koski's left knee came down in front of the bag, and Derek Jeter diving headlong into third. Here's that play one more time. Just don't know, every time you make those head first slides, you're taking a chance whether you're healthy or injured. If you're healthy, of injuring it. If you're injured, to reawaken the injury.
Somebody's hands will be rubbing on that left shoulder after tonight's game. Just going to leave it at that. Game 1, opening day. Play at third base. The catcher coming down to make the play, getting that leg down, and it was Jeter slamming in to Ken Huckabee's shin guard, dislocating the left shoulder, and Jeter ended up missing 36 games because of it. Juan Rivera had pretty good rip at that last 94-mile-an-hour fastball from Rincon. And then it's plays like these that we've seen where that left shoulder is exposed and that arm is hanging out. But it bothered him. Still 2-2 on Rivera.
I didn't notice it at the time, but it looked like that grimace on Derek's face when diving for that ball indicated perhaps pain. Not a happy look right here. Ouch.
On 2-2. Might be. Could be. It is. We go to the 9th inning. The Yankees 3 outs away from evening this series at a game apiece, up 4-1. 4-1 the scores. We go to the 9th inning and the 2nd inning of work for Mariano Rivera. Torrey Hunter first up. And a ball inside. Tim, we came on the air talking about pressure on this Yankee team. Facing with a loss here tonight. 2-0 deficit going to the Metrodome, where it's so tough to win, especially in the postseason.
It's also tough to catch the ball up there. With that white background, the Twins more accustomed to it, but any team visiting that place, it's a different ball game.
It took until the 7th inning for us to see some of that Yankee magic. And the game was 1-1. We talked about Radke, but I don't think we can talk enough about the job that Andy Pettitte did for the Yankees to keep it there until the offense got something going. And they looked like, quote unquote, the Yankees in the 7th.
Yep.
The 1-2 pitch. Hunter takes ball 2. Now you go to Minnesota in the Metrodome. That carpet. As you said, it's tough to see, and you've got an older Yankee team against a younger team that moves around better, and the Twins playing on that fast carpet. There will be a decided home field advantage at the Metrodome for the Twins, like there always is for the Yankees here in the Bronx.
I would certainly think so. The fact that Jock Jones, Torrey Hunter, and Shannon Stewart can track down balls in the depths, left center, right center. That in itself cuts down on extra base hits. Can the Yankees do that same thing? They can't keep up with the Twins in that department.
Torrey Hunter will back that up as a 97-mile-an-hour fastball misses up and in. Part of this young Twins team. He remembers the postseason last year and the noise that they can make in the Metrodome. Torrey waits for a 3-2 pitch to start the 9th inning. Here are Torrey's thoughts on playing on that field with that crowd noise at the Metrodome.
It's just a lot of noise in there. It never leaves. It just stays in there, and I feel like your ears are going to bleed. In the Metrodome, it stays there, and all you can hear is like a big "ing" like that, and your ears feel like they're going to bleed, and your head is hurting, but you get a drive, and you get the adrenaline flowing from that.
The ears feel like they're going to bleed, the head's hurting, you get "ing," and it's wonderful for the Twins. They love every minute of it. With 1 out, nobody on. Koski takes ball 2, 2-0. Corey tonight is hitless. Has not put a ball in play. 2-1. Brzezinski on deck. Yankees up 4-1 in the 9th inning. Down 1-0 to none. Koski 2-2. The only other action today, the Oakland A's behind Zito beat the Boston Red Sox and Tim Wakefield 5-1. as that series will shift to Fenway Park, with the A's up 2-0. Into center field, Bernie Williams going back, 2 out. Here is tonight's good hands play of the game, presented by Allstate. Alfonso Soriano ending the top of the 8th with a bare hand pickup and flip. And the defense, which has been alarmingly poor for the Yankees the first game and a half of this series. They get a highlight play there from Soriano.
Yeah, it's funny, the good hands play tonight was not a good hands play the other day when Soriano opened the gates to Christian Guzman, who scored the first run of the game.
That's it. A soft liner back to Rivera. Another shattered bat, and the Yankees have evened this series at a game apiece.
An indication of the Yankees pitching tonight. There were 2 fly ball outs. All of the others were strikeouts or ground outs, with the exception of the home run.
Rivera finishes what Andy Pettitte started, and a big 3-run 7th inning does it for New York as they even this series at a game apiece. Our thanks to Steve Horn here in the booth, and for our producer Michael Weissman, our director Billy Webb, and everyone else helping to bring you this game, Associate Director Aaron Stoikov, and the broadcast associate